everyone, and welcome back to Stir the Coco. I'm so glad you're here. And if you're a new follower, I am your host, Poshteacher. And here at Stir the Coco, we focus on all things that make our brain, our coco, feel fantabulous. Our first show begins with the beginning of our show starts with a Spanish lesson, and this helps create neuroplasticity for our brain, and then we head off to great interviews. So today we're calling our show Find Calm Within, because our topic today is all about mindfulness. After our Spanish lesson, we'll head over and talk to our mindfulness consultant. So, vamos a empezar. Let us begin. Researcher Gaël Desbordes, an instructor in radiology at Harvard Medical School and a neuroscientist, is probing mindfulness meditation's effect on depression using functional magnetic resonance imaging, an fMRI, to take before and after images of the brains of depressed patients who've learned to meditate. The work seeks to understand the internal brain processes affected by mindfulness meditation training in this population. Desbordes' research using the fMRI, which not only takes pictures of the brain, as a regular MRI does, but also records brain activity occurring during the scan. In 2012, she demonstrated that changes in brain activity in subjects who had learned to meditate hold steady even when they're not even meditating. Desbordes took before and after scans of subjects who learned to meditate over the course of 2 months. She scanned them not while they were meditating, but while they were performing everyday tasks. The scans still detected changes in the subject's brain activation patterns from the beginning to the end of the study. This is the first time such a change in part of the brain called the amygdala had been detected. Our next study, mindfulness improves attention. In a research done by the University of the Sunshine Coast, Australia, set out to investigate exactly how mindfulness can improve your ability to pay attention. To do this, they analyzed data from 81 healthy adults over age 60 who participated in a randomized controlled trial to assess both the immediate effects of an 8-week mindfulness intervention and long-term effects 6 months later on attention and brain physiology. They found that the older adults randomized to the mindfulness intervention showed improvements in sustained attention, improvements that were maintained at the 6-month follow-up visit. They also found changes in brain physiology that correlated with the improvement in attention. The Australian researchers found that 2 different types of brain processes were enhanced by mindfulness. First, mindfulness training increased the efficiency of brain pathways that process information coming in from the senses. In other words, the boost in attention helped the participants to literally see information more accurately. Scientists often refer to these improvements in sensory abilities as enhancing bottom-up processes. Second, mindfulness training also boosted the ability of the brain to direct attention down to the information of interest. This means that participants were better able to focus on the task and ignore distractions. These types of control processes, which allocate attention, are often referred to as top-down processes. From studies like this one, we see that by practicing cognitive skills such as mindfulness, you can literally change your mind, your brain, and your IQ. As mentioned earlier, there are actual structural differences between the brains of experienced meditation practitioners and individuals with no history of meditation. What the difference was is the thickening of the cerebral cortex in areas associated with attention and emotional integration. But those investigations could not document that those differences were actually produced by meditation. Until now. That is in a study led by a Harvard-affiliated team of researchers. They're based in Massachusetts General Hospital. And they had participants spend an average of 27 minutes per day practicing mindfulness exercises. And this is all it took to stimulate a major increase in gray matter density in the hippocampus, the part of the brain associated with self-awareness, compassion, and introspection. McGreevy shares, quote, participant reported reductions in stress also correlated with decreased gray matter density in the amygdala, which is known to play an important role in anxiety and stress. None of these changes were seen in the control group. It is fascinating to see the brain's plasticity and that by practicing meditation, we can play an active role in changing the brain and can increase our well-being and quality of life, quotes Britta Holzel, first author of the paper and research fellow at MGH and Gießen University in Germany. Are you in awe with this mindfulness research? Well, before we go off and chat and have our interview, we're going to do a little bit of Español to warm up our Coco. So here we go. Remember, we call these los siete y un poquito más, the 7 and a few more. Remember, the brain can only handle 7 to 10 words at a time, or phrases. So if you want to learn more, check out YouTube Stir the Coco for a more detailed explanation. But here we go. Our first word, respira, breathe. And literally, if you take a breath and say this word, it comes out even better. And remember, this word can be used in any scenario, including in the medical field. So here we go. Respira. You even feel better when you say that, right? One more time. Respira. And remember, the A, you kind of end up with a smile on your face, which is not a bad thing. All right. Second word. I have a headache. Me duele la cabeza. Now, maybe your grandkids wore you out today and you're sitting on the couch going, oh my gosh, me duele la cabeza. Try it one more time. Me duele la cabeza. Muy bien. The next word is the word for think or focus. Here we go. Piensa. So your significant other lost something and you're so annoyed, so you're just going to look at them and go, piensa. And hopefully they can find what they were looking for, because you know you would find it, right? So here's your word again. Piensa. One more time. Piensa. And don't be shy about enunciating, because that'll help you with your pronunciation, making these phases. Okay, last word. One moment, please. One moment, please. Un momento, por favor. Un momento, por favor. And this word you can do for many situations, right? Someone is asking for something, but you need a minute. So you're going to say, un momento, por favor. Very good. Genial. Do you remember what prior guest used the word genial? Write it in the comments below on Stir the Coco. And well, we want this to be an interactive experience. We want you to be practicing your Spanish. All right. Well, we are off to chat with our guest today.
Bloomfield Township Senior Services promotes wellness and strengthens the community through social connections, fitness classes, aquatics, day trips, and more. Our staff is here to serve you, offering lifelong learning and interactive opportunities for residents age 50 and above. Invest in your vitality with us. Follow us to learn more and stay up to date. We look forward to meeting you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stir the Coco. And I would like to introduce our guest, Trice Berlinski. And she is a corporate consultant certified in neuroscience, meditation, and mindfulness. She is a co-founder of the Michigan Collaboration for Mindfulness Education, which is a nonprofit mindfulness in education. And her current business is called Presence to Pupils, LLC. And some of her clients include Congressman Tim Ryan, General Motors, the University of Michigan, to name a few. And she has a bachelor's degree in environmental science from the University of Michigan. Trice, welcome to our program.
Thank you, Carla. Very happy to be here.
Oh, I'm excited you're here. And so first of all, we want to hear, what is your personal journey that led you to pursue a career in mindfulness? Tell us about it, Trice.
Very interesting. So as a child in elementary school, I wanted to be a psychologist. Some of your listeners may remember Dear Abby. Yes. I wanted to be Dear Abby.
Oh my God.
In fact, I wrote to her and recently found her reply back to me.
Yeah. Oh my, where is it? You should have brought it.
Next time.
Okay.
Next time, or I'll send you a picture of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I even have a picture on my phone.
Oh.
So I still do have that. And so it's ironic because if you take it from way when it first started to now, I'm working with a magazine called Woman to Woman Michigan. And I just finished writing my first column, which is to Dear Miss Mindfulness, about how to use meditation and mindfulness for trauma-related triggers.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
But what happened in between is that my parents, when I said I wanted to be a psychologist, they said, that's not really such a great idea. It just wasn't an embraced profession at that time. So I didn't listen to it. I squelched it. And then when I went to U of M, I took a test for what I should do. And I scored highest in medicine. And I thought, I literally remember thinking, I don't want to be a surgeon. And then I went to the next category. I didn't think psychology is medicine.
Right.
I just went to the next category, was environmental. And I got the degree in environmental science because I always loved nature. And I did that for 25 years. And then after my second parent passed away, so my dad first, then my mom, I was flipping through her Time magazines looking for her writing in the margins. And this is, I'll never forget this. I saw two little sentences from Deepak Chopra, who is known for meditation.
Yes.
And he basically said something to the effect of, if you could do anything and it weren't about money, what would you do? And it came to me to teach mindfulness to children, but I'd never heard of mindfulness. But immediately the energy filled my body. And this is the quantum field at work, right?
Right.
So the energy filled my body, and I just knew. And I was like ready to start my business right then. And I was like, whoa, Trice, okay. Yeah. First research this, see what's already going on, etc. Mm-hmm. And so then I found a guy named Daniel, I'll probably mess up his name, but Rex Chafin from California, who was teaching mindfulness in schools. He's a psychotherapist, I believe is the proper term, or psychologist, out on the West Coast. His parents started the Omega Institute in New York, and I ended up going to his training with a woman named Jennifer Cohen Harper, who taught yoga. He taught the mindfulness, so that between the two of them, and there was also a weekend for mindfulness for educators, which is where I met the ladies who helped me to start the Michigan Collaborative for Mindfulness and Education, which is the first mindfulness effort in Michigan, the formal nonprofit.
And it's the time where we need this, you know?
And it's not going away.
Yes.
It's not going away. People are embracing it more, and there's still so many people who, and sometimes in my head I think, oh, everyone knows this now.
No. And so I'm glad you're here, because we need to, and that's actually what I'm leaning into, because explain to us what mindfulness is, because like you said, we're hearing this word everywhere. Define it for us. What is mindfulness?
Well, it's important to differentiate meditation versus mindfulness, and one of the best ways I think to explain that is if you were participating in a team sport, right? And think about basketball, for example. You're practicing with your team. That's meditation. It's a controlled environment, okay? You know the other players, you know your home court. All right, so if we were to sit here and meditate, it's like we've controlled our environment. We've used the restroom, we've had our drink, you know, we're going to get in our position. We know the room, we know no one's likely to just pop on in, and we meditate. Mindfulness is now we're playing against the other team, okay, right? It's taking it out into life. And so at the end, you asked me to give a little teaser. I'm going to give a teaser of a little mindfulness practice that I'm anticipating your listeners could be doing anything. And so I'm going to give them something that they can do while they're listening without changing anything. And a lot of people feel like, well, I can't meditate. But once you learn how to meditate, then life becomes the meditation.
Got it. Oh my gosh. Perfect. Now we can move on.
Yeah.
I understand. So tell us, what are the benefits of doing mindfulness, especially for the 50 and over crowd? Why is it beneficial or not? Give us your thoughts on it.
Oh my gosh. You just tell me when to stop. It's extremely beneficial. So I'm going to start with something unusual.
Tell us.
And you are a beautiful woman.
Oh gosh, love you, Trice.
And typically, people want to stay looking their best as they age. Okay. And what people don't realize is a meditation practice, mindfulness practice, can help, because we carry so much stress and anxiety, and it will show up in our face. And even, just making facial expressions or not realizing that you're
body language.
Yeah, exactly. And over time, that wears and tears.
Yes.
And not only, we start to feel not as well, right?
Absolutely.
But we are literally damaging ourselves. I needed a surgery in my neck.
Oh my God.
And I ended up not having it because once I learned meditation, which was a body awareness, I was able to shift that. And so it's almost like we have an internal tension going on.
Or clenching your teeth.
Exactly.
How many people wear a mouth guard?
Right. So the health benefits, reducing anxiety, shifting out of depression, managing emotions. So it's beneficial for relationships. It's beneficial to minimize the potential for Alzheimer's disease. In fact, all diseases start with stress. You're managing stress.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't speak enough. And even there was a time when the researchers and the scientists thought that meditation might not necessarily be good for people with trauma. And then they learned just how to apply it for people with trauma.
Wow. So speechless. So definitely something that we have to look into and acknowledge. And so I want you to tell me, where can people seek out information on how to do mindfulness? Is it accessible, or how do you inform people?
Personally, I think it's everywhere, and it might just be that I'm inundated with it because I love it so much that I feel it's so, go to the the grocery store, and you see it, in a magazine.
Right.
Of course, you can Google things, but what I'm finding is that people, if they don't understand, it would be sort of like if I gave you a car but never gave you lessons on how to operate the car, and you just went out driving.
Yes.
So we were all given bodies, and I believe you come from the education industry yourself.
Yes.
And so you're probably very full aware that we're not taught from a young age what this vehicle does and how to operate it.
Yes.
So meditation specifically with neuroscience helps to teach people how everything works in the body.
Okay.
And so, for example, maybe, stress does happen. But now what can I do? And it's really about navigating. I had a very traumatic experience last fall, which the details don't really matter. Mm-hmm. But at the time, it was a matter of, do I change my breathing to turn on my parasympathetic nervous system, which I can explain, or do I just be? And so tuning in, the awareness of knowing what to do was itself a mindfulness activity.
Wow.
And it became, my intuition told me that since I'd been driving, I was driving to North Carolina, and now I was in a hotel room. Since I'd been driving all day, and it was raining and dark, and the roads were getting curvy in the mountains, all this stuff, and then there was the other stuff going on inside of me, that even the activity of changing my breathing was going to be too much effort, right?
Yes.
And so it was a really bizarre moment. It was like, you need to just be, okay?
Oh.
And so in that process of being, and I felt so traumatized that I thought I'm not going to be able to sleep all night. And I was actually starting a weigh-in, W-A-Y, guided meditation next morning. I had to be on the road by 5:30 to pull over to do the weigh-in at 7:30 to make it to the book reading I was going in North Carolina on time.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I thought, I don't think I'm going to sleep all night, but I'm just going to be with this pain, this trauma pain in my body. Mm-hmm. And when I say be with it, a lot of people don't know what I mean. But it would be like when we greeted each other today. We haven't seen each other in a while. Yes. And it was like, oh, you're fully present.
Yes.
And so you take that pain, and it's almost like, imagine just it was cold, and this is just a delicious warm cup of tea or whatever you like, and you're just like, and you're totally, and it doesn't have to be slow. I slow it down just to exaggerate. I was totally being with my pain. And I kid you not, within 5 minutes, it was like a bubble burst. And because I didn't resist it, because what we resist persists.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, I love that. Okay. Resist,
John
persist.
Kabat-Zinn.
Love that.
Got to give him the credit. So I didn't resist my pain, and this works with physical pain in the body. I embraced it. It burst, and I've done this with depression. 5 minutes, just like that.
Yes.
And into my brain, without trying to think, came my solution, and I fell asleep.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful. And like you said, it comes from us, like our body. You didn't have to pop something, whatever, just so you could rest. And
no.
Okay.
We are powerful beyond imagination.
There's so much, right? I mean, because we talk a lot about the brain, and there's so much that it's so powerful.
It
You
is.
have to discover it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of chemicals in there, and learning how to, again, operate within those, the parameters of those chemicals.
Well, actually, leading up to it, do you want to share what you brought today? And then we're going to do a little mindfulness tease.
Okay.
And but tell us what you have here today.
Okay, so I brought my hat, which my business presents to people, and I just think it's cute. It's fun.
It's adorable. I love hats. I wear trucker hats all the time. Actually, I should be wearing one today.
So I've worked with a lot of kids, and everything I do works with adults as well, but this is a mindful jar that was made a long time ago. So I would have students come up, we would fill it with warm water, and then I would have some glue, and I would put the glue in there and tell them to send all the icky thoughts or feelings to the glue going in there. And you could see it sort of coagulate. And then I would have them come up, and you can see there's big gemstones.
Yes, I'm like loving it. I love this one right there.
So there would be something big in their life, whether it's good or bad. And then the glitter was some smaller thoughts happening. And we would show how, like with the brain, when life gets chaotic and it's all shook up, you can't see through it.
Oh my gosh.
But as you let it settle, you're still in your body. Stillness in the body leads to stillness in the mind. Not that you have to always be still to meditate or do mindfulness.
Okay.
But you see, there's clarity. So it's just a fun visual.
I love visuals. I'm a visual person, so this was amazing.
And then this is, there's many different tools one can use. I have a whole bag. I actually brought my Mary Poppins umbrella on purpose, even though it's raining. It is useful to show that I literally have a bag of tricks, right? And so this is a chime, and I use it to teach people. So say, for example, you said to me, Trice, I just can't meditate. And I'd say, okay, well, let's play with this for a minute. And I'd say, Carla, raise your hand when you no longer hear the noise, the tone it's about to make. And now can you still hear it if I bring it closer? Right. So I don't usually do those both at once, but there's two things that happened. You turned your attention to it. That's a little meditation.
Yeah.
And one of the things I teach is that our thoughts are not always true. So you might think something's no longer making noise, and of course it's the science of the vibration of, of sound too. To show that, even if we think something may not be true, or something's true, but it's not necessarily true, it actually was still
It was still, it was still
Yeah,
there.
So.
Oh my gosh, that was incredible. Oh.
Simple, basic.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, do you want to share with us a little bit?
Sure.
All right, so we're going to do a little meditation, or a little mindfulness. Yes.
So wherever you are, no matter what you're doing, even if you're driving a car, I'm just going to invite you in to tune into your senses. And we're going to start with the chime, since this is an audio. You can all hear this. So paying attention to just the sound of the chime, and again, if you're driving, everything else, but you can notice this sound is part of it. And now if it's safe for you to do so, you can close your eyes, and if you want to keep your eyes open, fix them on something in the room that you're in or wherever you happen to be, if it's outside or in your car, and just notice something in the room and bring a sense of curiosity to the visual aspect of that item. The color, the shade, the depth, the shape. Perhaps the texture, even if you can't feel it. The variations, maybe that there's different colors. And then move your awareness from the visual to something that you can feel, just without even trying, just whatever happens to be in your hands right now, or whatever your fingers are touching, or maybe what your feet are touching. Whatever part of your body, just notice and tune in, focus on that. You may notice other thoughts or feelings. Just nod your head to them and come back to what you're choosing to focus on, and that in and of itself helps to build your brain. And now noticing if there's any smell. Being curious. Curiosity is your friend here. And then shifting to the sensations in your mouth, noticing if there's any taste. Letting go of any judgment of anything, any part of this experience is good or bad, and just noticing. And then finally tuning into your body. Noticing if you can sense a vibration in your body, or perhaps your breath moving. Perhaps there's a sense of excitement or tension. And that's just a little mindfulness, meditation, dance of senses. Just moving around to where your awareness brings you, letting go of thought, which is just literally like you're lifting weights. So the functional MRIs show that it's not the Zen state that makes our prefrontal cortex stronger, which is this CEO part of the brain, the blue part. It's the repeatedly noticing thoughts, and you go, okay, I'm going to bring my attention back to what I'm looking at, what I'm smelling, what I'm tasting, my breath, and then the amygdala, the hot pink parts, get weaker. They get less reactive as the prefrontal cortex gets stronger, and then the green is your library, your hippocampus. So that's why memory improves. We talked about people over 50.
Yes. Okay, fascinating. There should be no one that should not be doing this.
Absolutely.
And well, Trice, I can't thank you enough. And this is just the little nugget of it. We definitely need to chat more.
Yes, my pleasure.
And thank you for being here with us. And we're just right now just feeling so nice in the moment.
That was so brief, yeah.
And thank you so much, and we want to have you again. And
I would love that.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
And well, here at Stir the Coco, we always like to leave our guests with a Spanish word. So we are going to pick a word and say increíble, incredible, because it was increíble. So can you repeat with us the word of the day? Increíble.
Increíble.
Muy bien.
Muy bien. I love it.
Thank you, everyone, and we'll catch you next time on Stir the Coco.
Coco.
Adios.
Adios.